Hey guys, it's Tyler and it is Ostomonday. Woohoo! So recently I went abroad for the first time in 6 years? 5 years? 5 or 6 years anyway. And it's the first time since I had my surgery, my ostomy surgery. So I was quite nervous, which I think was actually an understatement. I was very nervous. I'd read up a little bit about travelling with an ostomy, and there has been a few horror stories, let's say, of people going through like the security checks and having to get patted down, and then embarrassing situations like that. So I was kind of like a bit nervous as to how that would go. I travelled from Stansted, so it's the first time I've been to Stansted as well, so again it was a new airport that I didn't really know. And went through the security check, and you go through the metal detector and it beeped, so they had to pat me down. So I kind of stood there all nervous, but actually they just kind of patted you down as you were, and they sort of put their hands over where my bag was, but didn't really question anything. It was just a normal pat down, and they were like, yeah, go through. So luckily it wasn't anything embarrassing, or I didn't have to explain what it was. I think if I was in that situation I'd be okay, because I'm quite open, as you know, I'm quite open about it, but I've not had to do that so far. Maybe if I travel again I'll have to kind of go into another room and explain, but it was quite nice to not have to talk about it, and I could just go through like a normal person, I guess. The flight itself was only just over an hour, I think it was, so it wasn't like it was a long haul flight, so I knew that if I went to the toilet just before boarding, then I wouldn't sort of have to go mid-flight or anything like that, so I could pretty much just stay in my seat the whole time. I think if it had been a longer flight, I would have had to think a bit more carefully of things that I eat and drink, and caffeine, for example, it makes it output more frequent and more kind of, at least in my case anyway, so it'd be things like just maybe avoid caffeine before going on the flight, just to kind of slow the output down, I guess. But for me it was fine. It was just a nice short journey, and that was nice to kind of do my first flight post-op, and it was just a short journey to kind of get used to that. And I feel now that I've done that, then I'm probably going to be a lot more confident for maybe going on longer flights, say, I don't know, America on a honeymoon maybe. I don't know. I definitely recommend short flights to start off with, because it kind of gives you an idea of what it's going to be like maybe on a longer flight, and you can even just kind of increase it slowly, like start off by going on like a flight that's an hour, and then next time maybe a couple of hours, and then maybe 4 or 5 hours, and then if you build yourself up, you'll know that you can deal with it. Or if you're the sort of person that is like, I'm just going to jump in at the deep end, then go for it. Don't feel like it's a scary a thing, because it's not as scary once you're on that flight and you're doing it. It's not as scary as you build it up. I am one of those people that builds something up in their head and makes it a lot worse than it is. So now that I know that it's not a big deal, I'm much more confident for the next time I go travelling. One of the things that I've always thought about is what happens to the bag itself. Does it inflate with like cabin pressure and all that kind of stuff? Nothing. Literally nothing happened. It was this. I was just sat at home. There was no adverse effect on my bag. I didn't feel funny. My stomach didn't feel uncomfortable. Nothing exploded. So I think those things that you kind of think in the back of your head, like what if this, nothing bad happened. So I'm really pleased that at least now I know firsthand that nothing bad will happen on a flight. The only thing that could happen is that you have a leak, which is like anywhere. You could be at work and you have a leak, or you could be out shopping and you can have a leak. So it's kind of the same situation. You just take your spare supplies. Obviously one thing with going on air travel is that things like if you've got an aerosol adhesive remover spray, you can't really take aerosols on a flight. So what I used instead, because I had my handbag with my emergency kit, so I had my spare bags, and that's plural because I have 2 stomas. So I took 2 for each in case something really bad happened. Probably overkill. I don't think I needed that much, but it just made me feel better. I took my barrier wipes, I took my adhesive remover, but instead of using the spray like I usually do, I use the adhesive remover wipes. So you just wipe as you sort of remove the faceplate. So again, it's not aerosol, it's a wipe instead. And then some spare swabs just to kind of clear the skin and make sure it's all clear for the next application. I didn't take scissors, I pre-cut my bags ready so that on the flight I don't have to then cut, you know, because you're not allowed to take scissors on the plane and everything, which is totally understandable. I totally get why, but so for an ostomy you have to plan ahead and make sure that you have pre-cut your bags and you have, you know, taken out the aerosol spray out of your emergency kit and swapped it maybe for a wipe instead. So little things like that, but it's only those couple of adjustments that you need to do, but everything else is pretty much normal, how you would in any situation where you take your spare supplies. I'm really pleased that I was able to travel without any incidents, and the fact that I've done a short flight means that hopefully now I can progress to a slightly longer flight, which is perfect timing because now, well, next year I'm getting married, and maybe next year or the year after I'll be going on my honeymoon. So hopefully we can go somewhere slightly further away, maybe somewhere exotic, who knows, but at least it gives me that option now. So what about you? Have you been abroad yet since your ostomy, or have you tended to stay more local? What's, you know, share your experiences with me, whether it's been, you know, flying around the world, or whether it's, you know, you're due for a flight soon maybe. So just get in touch. All my contact details are below, so yeah, tell me about it, and hopefully we can kind of share some tips and tricks. Thanks for watching. I'm hoping I can get some more videos up soon, but yes, please leave me some comments, and also what would you like to see in my next video? If you've got a burning question, or, you know, a particular topic that you want me to talk about, please just leave a comment, or you can email me or tweet me or whatever, and I'll see what I can do. So I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you next time.